Hello all and welcome to our Crochet Designs. My name is Mary, coming to you with step 8 of our 12-step transition blanket. Get excited. She's excited, guys. Get excited. If you are joining us new, firstly, welcome. Don't forget to subscribe because that's fantastic. Once you subscribe, you get all our videos and everything's exciting, yeah? Everything is always exciting here on our channel, but today I'm even more excited because step 8, we're actually a week late of completing step 8. I'm a week late of completing step 8. And as you all know, this happened. Yes, I got myself a new kitten, and the time it's taking for me to do anything these days is like double time. So I do apologise in advance if I'm running late. So there you go. But that's the excuse I'm using. But isn't she gorgeous or what? All right, so step 8, guys. Let's firstly talk about those of you who haven't started the blanket. You will see a playlist to the blanket. The very first link you see in the description box down below, or the more section down below. You'll see a playlist there where you can click on that playlist, start from step 1 and work yourself all the way up to step 8, because we're nearing the end of the year, guys. I know it sounds weird, but not really. But we only have 3 more steps after today's step before we do some border rounds, and that's how exciting it's getting, yeah? So if you haven't seen, let's just talk about step 8 real quickly. Step 8 looks something like, oh, let it get a close up there, this. Now, someone said to me on my live the other day, oh, it's back loop. You worked in the back loop. Wrong. Don't you like that? So, guys, it's not back loop. However, when you are doing this stitch, if you find that you are new to crochet and it's too much work for you and it's too confusing and your stitch count is off, take the row undone and just do back loops. It's not for every row, it's for every 4th row. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's for every 4th row, okay? So the other rows are quite basic and you'll find that out within the tutorial, but this is what you're looking at, Simply Divine, something a little different. Very exciting. Don't forget, guys, don't cast off your red yet because you're going to do 1, 2 rounds, I think, of red before you start this orange colour. If you've cast off, it doesn't matter. You can either start with the orange, which I wouldn't because it doesn't look the same as the pattern, or you can just rethread your red and use a new thread. I know that would be a bit of a pest, but if you've already cut it, then there you go. Doesn't matter. Either way, you can do it either way you like. All right, that's that. And what else can I tell you about it? That's pretty much it, guys. I'm not going to talk anymore. We're just going to head over to the workstation and get you started creating step 8 of our 12-step transition blanket. Good luck all. Alrighty, guys. Step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7, and of course 5, 6 and 7 are the transition colours where we are transitioning back to the other colours. So we've already transitioned back to the red, now we're going to transition back to the orange, but not yet. I asked you to keep your red thread attached. You know what? I was thinking about it. If you haven't kept your red thread attached, you could still just start with the orange, all right? But for me, I kept it attached on purpose because we are going to do 2 rows of the red, all right? So pop your hook in. Bear with me, guys. We have a new little kitten. All right, she has breakfast twice already. She's going to have another one. Moving right along, at the end of your last row, you would have completed a double crochet. You would have your cluster sets across. That's where you would have ended up with. And now what you're going to do is chain 1, turn your work like normal. And then in that first stitch that you normally go into, pop a single crochet. Pop your hook in, pull a loop through, 2 loops, yarn over, pull through both those loops, pop your stitch marker in there. You know how to do single crochets. We've done them before. All right. So now what you're going to do is chain 4 and then skip all this section and pop your hook in the chain space of the next cluster set. Okay, so that's your set. And you're going to do that all the way through. Chain 4, single crochet, chain 4, single crochet. So it goes like this. Let me make this a little that way. There we go. Chain 1, 2, 3 and 4. And in that large chain space there, you'll have other chain spaces, yeah, but that's a chain space, our main chain 2 space that we did in our previous row. Just pop your single crochet in that space, like so. Simple, yeah? Very simple row. Chain 1, 2, 3 and 4. Skip over your 2 double crochets there, your 2 there, jump into the chain 2 space, pop your hook in, do your single crochet. Yep. 1, 2, 3 and 4. Jump over all of your work into the next chain 2 space with a single crochet. 1, 2, 3 and 4, single. Yeah. 1, 2, 3 and 4, single. I hope I'm not rushing too much, but that's pretty much it. It is a very simple row. So your job, and I'm going to let you head off on your own and do this, is chain 4, jump into the space, single crochet, chain 4, single crochet, chain 4, single, 4, single, all the way across until you get to your last space. Pop your single crochet there, wait for me there, and we'll talk about what we're going to do next. Alrighty guys, here we are at the end of the row, and the blanket is getting very big for my table, so just bear with me. Alright, so when you get here, I asked you to get to this last section here. Alright, you're still going to chain your 1, 2, 3 and 4. And then you will do your single crochet in your top stitch like normal. Remove that stitch marker. And chain 1, turn your work. Alright, I won't turn the whole piece and waste your time, just that first bit. In that same stitch that you are in, just ignoring your chain 1, but in the same stitch you're in, you're doing a single crochet in the same stitch. And in this space, you are making 4 single crochets, right? And that's over the chains. So you go over the chains and do your 1 single crochet. Whoops, I forgot to put a stitch marker in that first stitch. Make sure you pop your stitch marker in, guys, or you won't find it at the end of the row. And it's that first top 2 loops that we did right there. And that's 1 single in the chain space, 2 singles, 3 singles, and 4 singles. All right. What we're going to do is skip that next single crochet that you see right there and pop 4 single crochets just directly into the chain space. So you skip 1 into this chain space with 4 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Yeah. Skip 1, 4 into the next. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Skip 4 into the next space. A very simple row. Another very simple row, yeah? 2, 3, and whoops, don't lose a stitch. 4. It's only because my blanket is like this. I need to turn it properly. All right, so what I want you to do, let me just turn it properly quickly. Don't knock over the frame. I want you to do exactly that. Single crochet 4 into every space, ignoring your single crochet. So 4 in there, skip 1, 4, skip 4, and so on, all the way across your piece. However, when you get to your last set of chain 4, don't do it. Just do the second last set, wait for me there, and then we'll talk about what we're going to do next. Alrighty guys, so here I am at the end of the row, but I placed stitch markers on my 50th stitch there, 50th there, 10 and then 20th there, just to help me with count. It was up to you whether you wanted to pop your stitch markers there or not, but that was just to help me with count. So I asked you to get to the set just before the end, all right? So that's that was your set before, so you've got that set, and what you have now is that chain 4 left there. All right, but at the beginning we popped 4 single crochets in there. We're not going to do that here, because if we do, we're going to have 1 extra single crochet. So all we're going to do is pop 3 single crochets in there, 1, 2 and 3, and we're going to pop the 4th one right in that stitch with a stitch marker. However, we are now going to be changing back to, let me bring this out a minute, our next colour. And our next colour on the way back was the orange. Now you don't have to change if you don't want to, and if you don't want to change, you need to turn, you need to chain 3 and turn, or chain 1, do your stacked single crochet and wait for us there, right? But for the rest of us, we are going to start with our next colour. All right, so the way I change colours, and we've done this so many times before, we pop the single crochet in the stitch with a stitch marker. Just remove that stitch marker for a minute. Pop your hook in like normal, pull the loop through like normal, and then you are popping that thread in the back of your hand there, grabbing your new thread, pop it on the hook and just pull it through like so. All right, now grabbing hold of the tail end of the red and the tail end of your orange, chain 3 if you want to chain 3, or chain 1 and turn your work. Now if you've chained 3, just pop a stitch marker in the top of your chain 3. Otherwise, let's do it this way, it's better. Do your stacked single crochet or standing double crochet, whatever you want to call it. You pop it in the stitch, okay, not in the chain that we did, in the stitch. Pull a loop through, 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2. And remember what we do here, we skip that first loop, we go into the base or the second loop, pull your loop through like normal, 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through both those loops, and that's the stitch where you place your stitch marker on those top 2 loops. Make sure you use a stitch marker, piece of thread, whatever you've got here, or you could end up with an extra stitch. If you look carefully at it, it looks like there's 2 stitches there, all right, which there kind of is, yeah. So now what you want to do, and you know this guys, with the new colour, we do double crochets in every stitch. A double, pop your yarn over your hook into the stitch, pull a loop through, 3 loops, yarn over, pull through 2, 2 loops, yarn over, pull through the last 2. That is actually a double crochet US, treble UK, and that's in every stitch all the way across. Now before we continue, if you were to have counted your stitches, you would have got to here at 120, yeah, 1 2 3 4, yeah, and 5 6 7 8 9. You would have ended up with 129 stitches, which is what we need now. All right, so guess what guys, you know this part, we've done it throughout the whole of our blanket, so I'm not going to show you, I think you can do it on your own, and that is your 2 double crochets, 2 double crochets, 2 double crochets. All right, so a double crochet row all the way to the end, do your stacked single crochet or standing double crochet or chain 3, turn and do a second row. You need 2 rows of double crochet. Do that now. Meet me back here once you're done, and we'll talk about what we're going to do next. Alrighty guys, so here we are at the end of our 2 rows of double crochet. Alright, I was going to ask you to do a 3rd row, but I didn't, because I just want to do a little bit of housekeeping here, because I know that some people may have done extra rows in their piece, which can happen. If they decided they wanted to make their blanket a little bigger or a little smaller, they would have done extra rows or less rows or whatever. But now that we're at the end of our 2 rows double crochet, your tail, that's the end right there, yeah, your tail should be in your right hand side. When we flip our work to do the next row, your tail will be on the left. All right, so right now, the row that we're on, make sure that your tail is on the right hand side. For this next pattern to work, for it to look nice, your tail needs to be on your right hand side for now, okay? If it's on your left hand side, what I want you to do is skip over to this time, all right? But right now, on this row that we're still doing, I've got hair everywhere, it's actually on our right hand side, all right? So what we're going to do, if it's on your right hand side and you're on the same side as us, you need to complete your double crochet in your last stitch like normal, and you're going to repeat this one row. So what I want you to do is turn your work and do your stacked single crochet, standing double, or chain 3, whichever you like to use. Pop your stitch marker in there and do your double crochet across, just like you did these past 2 rows. Double crochet all the way across. Now I'm going to check that we're on the right side again later, okay? So don't stress if you do your double crochet row and realize you're on the wrong side as us, and you will have to take that undone for the next pattern to work, all right? But for now, what I want you to do, and I don't want you to sit here and watch me do another row of double crochets, so just do another row of double crochet, get to the end of this row, and get ready for pattern change. Alrighty guys, here we are at the end of the row, and if you're anything like me, naughty me, forgot to cut my red. I am a bit naughty, sorry guys. So make sure you've cut your red, because we're not using the red anymore. Don't get rid of your red. We are going to need it when we do our border rounds, so remember that, yeah? But for now, we don't need it. We don't need it at all. What we do need to do, however, is check this, all right? So I'll fold it so you can see what I'm doing. So this is our whole entire blanket, yeah? So right now we are at the end of a row, our 3rd row of double crochet. But if you're at the end of your 2nd row of double crochet, it doesn't matter, as long as the end of this row, your thread, I'm sorry about the jingle bells in the background, guys. That's my cat playing with the toys. We've got a new kitten and she's playing with her toys and she's very happy. So bear with me on the little jingle noise. But you should have your thread, the starting thread that we started with, the beginning of our work, in your left-hand side for the end of this row. All right, so let's end this row and I'll explain it better for you in a minute. So we're going to do our final, let's move that for a minute. We're going to do our final double crochet in that stitch. Have I split it? It doesn't matter, I've fixed it. All right, so do your final double crochet in that stitch and chain 1, flip your work. All right, so we flipped our work, yeah? And right now, for this pattern to work, you need to have your starting thread, let's move all that out the way first, in your right hand side. This is going to be the right side of your work, all right? The reason I'm saying that now is for 2 reasons. One, when we do our border rounds later, we're going to stick to the right side of our work. And the other reason is this particular pattern that we're about to do will not work on this side. If you had the wrong side, the pattern's going to show on the wrong side and the other side will just be flat, all right? So for your pattern to work, for this row to work, make sure that your thread is in your right-hand side here, go all the way up, and we're about to start our row right now, all right? Hope that made sense for you. And let's start our row. It's very exciting. All right, so let's I'll just move everything out the way so you can see what I'm doing. It's not a tricky stitch, it's just tricky to look at. So normally when we're going to do a row of single crochets, right? So normally we do a normal single crochet like that. We're not going to do it that way. We're still going to do a single crochet, but let me talk to you quickly about a stitch, give you a quick lesson on a stitch. This main work is called a post. The stem, that is called a post. And the actual stitch is your top 2 loops, the little space there with the top 2 loops. All right, now normally we go into the stitch, but what we're going to do here is go around the stitch. So we're going in almost like a front post or a back post, yeah? So we're going in the stitch and then back out through the next stitch. Then we're going to form our single crochet, pull the loop through like normal, right? So when we do our next stitch, we go in the same stitch we finished in and we start in the next, all right? So we're going to do that now. So our first stitch, as we always do, is right there. So pop your hook in that first stitch, around and into the second stitch, all right? So you do a pull the loop through like normal and do your single crochet. All right, we'll pop the stitch marker in there and I'll show you again. And I'll show you a few times because it can be a little tricky, this row, because you want to pop your hook into the stitch that you just came out of. All right, we went into one and we came out of the next. So give it a tug and you can see that you're in there. So you're going back in there, around your stitch and out through to the next stitch. Pull a loop through like so. Complete your single crochet. All right, we're going to do it again. That's the stitch we came back through. All right, you're going to go back into the stitch, around your new stitch and pop out of your new stitch and pull a loop through, complete your single crochet. Do it again, around and in through your new stitch. So it's almost like you're doing a front post, but you're doing it in single crochet, into the old stitch and out through your new stitch. Into the old stitch, and if you can't see it, give your work a little tug. Into the old stitch, out through to the new stitch. All right, and I'll get a nice close up now. There's your old stitch, in, around, and then out through to the new stitch. All right, so that's what you're looking at. Now, if you were to turn your work, you could see that little ridge. Now, if you were going to have a look at it, let's try that again, through the right side of your work, which right now, this is the wrong side of your work. It's a flat look. But when you turn your work to the right side of your work, you get that nice little ridge. This is the start of our pattern repeat. And our pattern repeat is a 4-row repeat. The only difficult part of the repeat is this stitch right here. So you're going into the stitch that you are already in at the moment, around and out through to the new stitch. Pull your loop through. Let's have another close up. That's not close enough. Let's try it again. Into the stitch that you are already in, around the stitch, the new stitch, do your single crochet. And you just keep doing that all the way through your row. It's very, very simple, but it is easy to miss a stitch. So try to be very careful. And it becomes normal after a while. You just keep doing it. It just works, right? But for the first few stitches, it might look a little difficult. It's not. It's just a matter of remembering where you finished up. And you finished up in that stitch and you're starting into the next. Do your single crochet. You finished in there and then you're going into the very next. All right, like a front post, single crochet, if you will. We can call it a front post, but around the stitch itself. All right, very, very interesting stitch, but not completely easy, yeah, but not difficult either. Now, if you are finding this, or you're brand new to crochet and you are finding this extremely difficult, then all you can do is single crochet row, okay? You don't need to do the bubbled look, but then you won't get that bubbled look. Or you could do a single crochet in the back loop only. And I'll show you that real quickly. If you don't want to do this stitch and it's way too difficult for you, just face your work towards you, pop your hook in the back loop and do your single crochet all the way across. You can do it that way. It gives you a similar look, but not the same. All right, and I'll show you so you can see the look. All right. It gives you a gentle lift, whereas this one is a real thick ridge. This one is just a soft ridge. All right, and I don't want that look. I want my nice thick ridged look. All right, so your job now, guys, for the rest of the row is to go into the same stitch that you are in, out through the new stitch there, and do your single crochet into the same stitch and out through the new one. And that's the job you do all the way through. Go ahead and do that all the way through. Get to the end of your row, get to the last 2 stitches, just do the very second last stitch. Wait for me there and we'll talk about what we're going to do next. Alrighty guys, so I asked you to get to your second last stitch of this, what I like to call single crochet in the front post, if that's what you want to call it. That's what I call it anyway. So I'm on my third last stitch, going into my second last stitch with a single crochet. Then we're going to go into the second last stitch and into the stitch with your stitch marker and do your single crochet. Remove your stitch marker for a minute. What you're going to do here is you're going to place another single crochet in the same stitch right there. Do a normal single crochet. Not only does it straighten up the row, but it adds the extra stitch that you lose at the beginning of the row. Don't worry about that, but right now you should have 129 stitches across. Make sure you count your stitches, okay? It doesn't matter if you've got 130 or 128. Just know that if you have made an error and placed 2 into 1 stitch, or you've skipped a stitch, it's going to change the look of your pattern, all right? Just know that, yeah? But in the meantime, that was the first row repeat. Now you're chaining 1 or 3 if you want to start your double crochet row the way you like. Otherwise, turn your work and just do your standing or stacked single crochet right there. Standing double crochet or stacked single crochet right there. Pop your stitch marker in. Like normal. Nothing's changed at the beginning of the row for a double crochet row, okay? And that's what we're going to do, a double crochet row. But being wary here, guys, you have to make sure you face your work towards you. If you are brand new to crochet, face your work towards you to find, let me try that over here, to find that single crochet. And if you can't find it, split it like that. Find the first gap, that is your double crochet into your single crochet. Don't miss it or you'll be 1 stitch short. And you do the same all the way across. Face it towards you to find it. And if you can't find it that way, just yarn over your hook. Give your work a little split. It's the very next little space you come to. Not the large space. Don't go in there. Go into the little space. That is the stitch. Okay. So that's all you're doing pretty much. Double crochets into every stitch all the way across. It's a very simple row, and at the end of this row you should have 129 double crochets. So this, guys, is your second row repeat. Hello, let's bring that out a bit. It's your second row repeat. So for your second row repeat, you're doing double crochets into every stitch. Get to the very last stitch right here, or the second last stitch. Meet me there once you're done and we'll talk about our very next row. Alrighty guys, now that we're at the end of this row, and you can see the little ridge effect already, which is gorgeous. So you want to, and this is your second row repeat, yeah? So now you're going to finish off your second row repeat and get onto your third row. So yarn over your hook, just go into your very last stitch with your double crochet. Simple, yeah? Remove that for a second. Chain 1, or you can chain 3 because we're going to do the row of double crochets again. So chain 1, turn your work and do your stacked single crochets or your standing double crochet. Of course, you could have just chained 3 and pop your stitch marker in that top stitch right there. Like so. And this is a super easiest row you can do. It's the double crochet row into every stitch all the way across. Again, if you can't find it, just face it towards you. You'll be able to see it right there. I find it easy not to face it, to be fair. I find it easy just to give it a gentle tug and you can see the little gap there, the tiny gap, not the large gap, because the large gap is there. You don't want it in that. You want it in the actual stitch. All right, super easy. Double crochet into every stitch all the way across your row. Very, very easy. I'm not going to turn my work because it's just way too big, but turn your work and do your double crochets all the way across. Get to the end right here just before your stitch marker and wait for me there, and we'll talk about what we're going to do next. Alrighty guys, I'm having trouble fitting the blanket in, so I'm just going to have to show you the top of the blanket from now on. It's getting really big, which is good, yeah? Okay, so what we have here, we have finished, well, almost finished our third row repeat. So let's finish that off, double crochet into each stitch. Let's split a little bit, but there you go. All the way across, remove that stitch marker. I'm rushing because I want you to do this. Chain 1 or 3 if you're using a chain 3 turn. And your standing double crochet or stacked single crochet if you're using that one. Okay. And then you're just going to repeat this row one more time. All right. And that will be your 4-row repeat for the pattern. It is a super easy pattern, is it not? And yet it does give you that gorgeous sort of a raised look throughout every 3rd or 4th row. I think it calculates this as every 4th row. So you're going to go across this row right here. It's really big, the blanket. Sorry, guys. You need to just pop your double crochets all the way across. Get to the end of the row. Meet me there and get ready for pattern change. Alrighty guys, here we are at the end of this row. Very exciting because this row, and we'll just finish it off so we know what we're doing. And you know what to do. You double crochet in that stitch right there. Chain 1 for a second, remove your stitch marker, and get ready for some instructions. And I just split it. Don't you love it? Just split the yarn. All right, get ready for some instructions. And the instructions are, oh, it took a while to come through. Sorry about that. Like this. Pretty much, oh, let's try that again. Pretty much it. It is a 4-row repeat. Single crochet in the front post, if you want to call it that, which is actually what it's called. Then you've got your 1, 2, 3 double crochet rows. 1 single crochet front post and 3 double crochet rows. And that's pretty much the 4-row repeat. Now, best part is, guys, you only have 1 more set to repeat. All right, so now we're going to turn and we're going to start making the single crochets in the front post, and then you're going to do your 3 rows of double crochets. All right, so 1 row front post, 3 rows double crochet. So 4 rows altogether. You're going to do 1 more set, and that is it for this step. However, do not cast this yarn off at the end of this set, because in step 9 we're going to need it for 1 more row. Okay, so don't cast off your yarn after this set. All right, and that's pretty much all you're doing. 1 more set of this. I will pop the timestamp here to the start of the single front post row, and that's the time you need to go back and repeat the next 4 rows. All right, real quickly, if you want me to just show you the start on how to start that row, very simple. You've chained your 1, yes. Turn your work, and you're going to pop your first front post single crochet in the first stitch you are in and through to the second stitch. Pull the loop through and complete your front post single crochet right there. Pop your stitch marker in, and you're going into the same stitch you are in and then into the new stitch for your front post single crochet. Into the same stitch and then the new. Same, whoops, same and new. Being careful not to split the work like I just did. I almost split that work there. All right, so that's pretty much it. I'm not going to show you any more, guys. What I want you to do is go back, I'll leave it this side here, go back to that time right there. repeat that set right here. Meet me back here next month. No, not really next month. It's 3 weeks now because we're a week late for this. So meet me back here in 3 weeks' time where we will do step 9. Don't cast off this colour. You will need it for one more row. That's the colour we're using. You'll need it for one more row in step 9 before we change over to the gold. All right, so we are now officially using that colour. We're going back to the gold. We're getting close. We've got the yellow and then we've got the cream to do. So the next one after this is the gold, but don't cut your thread. Yeah, you need one more row next month. All right. So there you have it, guys. Very exciting. All you need to do is one more set of your 4 rows. That's it. But don't cast off your thread because we're going to be doing one row using this colour in step 9. And then step 9, you will need to change back to the gold. So exciting. So don't make sure you've got your gold ready, but don't cast off this colour, all right? Now, how gorgeous is that stitch where you get to do your front post single crochet? So gorgeous. However, if you are new to crochet and you decided to do back loops only, it would look very similar. It's just this one here, this particular stitch here, gives it a very tight look, whereas the back loops only kind of give it a loose bubbled look. This is a tight bubbled look. So there you go. And that's pretty much it for step 8. Don't forget, guys, to repeat that set. Meet me back here on, let me check the date, and she's moved the date, hasn't she? She's so naughty, guys, so naughty. Talk amongst yourselves. Meet back here on Friday the 4th of September for, let's try Thursday, the 4th of September for our next step 9 of our 12-step transition blanket. Get excited, guys, get excited. Remember, you need to do one more set and don't cast off your thread, and we'll meet you back then. All right, thank you very much for joining us here at Wow Crochet Designs and creating our annual project with us. Don't forget to join us on our lives at 4 p.m. Wednesday afternoons and 10 a.m. Saturday mornings, Melbourne, Australia time. My name is Mary and this is Wow Crochet Designs. Ciao for now.